All right. Let's see how many people we might have or what's going on. Um, if you guys can, just let me know if the audio and the video are coming in well. But I'm just going to wait for see who wants to show up. Hopefully the connection isn't too spotty. But for those of you guys who I see some of you guys just jumped in, thank you guys for being here. We're doing the Wednesday night Q&A session. Tonight's a little different. I had to wait a little bit longer than usual to start it, and it's only going to last maybe an hour maximum. And that is because tonight at work we have our Christmas party. So we have all employees plus wives or plus one, and we have dinner, and then we take our full autos on the range and we just shoot a bunch of machine guns after dinner. So looking forward to that. Last Christmas party was pretty awesome. I did a little quick video of shooting, the Scar Mark 17 full auto, 249, 240, just shooting a number of the full autos that we had at the time. Still have them. Now we have more. Things that showed up this year are MP7, MG42, the PPS. So it's going to be a good time, but I just wanted to set some time aside to do a little Q&A tonight. So if you guys have any questions or anything, then let me know, and or any comments, any videos you guys would like to see, anything like that, just let me know. But again, for those of you who are just joining, tonight's Q&A is going to be about an hour maximum, just because we're going to be doing our Christmas party tonight at work. So we're going to have dinner. It'll be a good time, and we're going to shoot some machine guns. So going to have to go in a little bit, but we still got time. Wanted to set some time for you guys tonight. So let's see what else we got going on. All right. Anybody have any questions or anything like that? I'm going to be sticking around, seeing if we get some more people coming in, seeing what's going on. All right. But hopefully you guys have been doing all right with everything going on. I think we're still in Hanukkah for those of you guys who are doing this. That's obviously coming up. So getting ready for the holidays this year, going to be a little strange compared to last year, but I guess we're all just going to live with it. Let's see. From AK, new to the channel, I hear from another video that 45 ACP was on its way out. What are your thoughts on that? I think 45 is still going to be around, I think, for a while. You still have 1911s that are being made in 45. I don't know the number of how many 1911s these days are being made in 45 versus 9mm or 10mm, but 1911s are still being made in 45. It's one of those things where it's classic American caliber. I think at least for the next 10 to 20 years, you're still going to be able to find it. This thing has been kind of weird. If anything was on the way out, it was definitely 40 Smith & Wesson, 40 cal. But with everything going on, nobody can find 9mm. But still, chances are you might find some 40 cal here or there. So we finally ran out of 40 cal. We just got some more in. We'll see how long it lasts. But this is kind of made Glock do a Glock 22 in the Generation 5. Some other manufacturers are still making 45s and 40 cal. 9mm is kind of, for more reasons than one, it's kind of the modern standard now. It's what I carry. It's primarily what I shoot. But in terms of 45, I think you're always going to see 45. 45 is always going to be around at least probably the next 10 to 20 years. temporarily it may seem weird because in times like these, the ammo manufacturers are really going to push heavy on producing 9mm, 5.56, 223, 22. They're really going to be pushing hard on, maybe they used to do 20% of their production was 45. Maybe now it's 15% because they're front loading other calibers that are easily in demand and are going to sell right away. So temporarily, in the months, possibly year and a half, whatever it's going to be ahead, 40 and 45 may look like they're kind of going away, but in all actuality, I think they're still going to be around for quite some time. But welcome to the channel. Hopefully you like the content. Gun reviews, shooting videos, workbench videos, AR building stuff, philosophical videos about the Constitution, things like that. That's what you'll find here. So hopefully you enjoy it, and welcome to the channel. And I'll just be hanging out again. Probably about 45 minutes from now is when I'm going to have to cut it loose, because we're going to be doing our Christmas party tonight, and I'm going to have to take off for that. But let's see. Carry a Glock 30 short frame. Can't find 45 anywhere. In the process of maybe getting a 9mm for a new carry. Love the videos also. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm actually, I've got my video editing stuff open. I just filmed a video tonight that some guys might find interesting, of installing an Aero Precision Atlas rail on an AR-15. So I think some guys might like it. This one's kind of a unique build though. So, but getting back to your thing, yeah, 9mm honestly is something. Under normal circumstances, it makes a lot of sense because it's the most common caliber. It's the lowest cost. So doing all that training, trying to stock up on it under normal circumstances, 9mm is the lowest cost, easiest way to do it. These days, not really the guns have changed as much as the ammo has changed. The propellants that we're using and have today, the bullet construction and bullet design, so many things have changed that 9mm these days is not what it ever used to be. Some 9mm loads out of some pistols or barrels are clocking in on the bottom end of 357 Magnum. So ballistically speaking, 9mm is a lot different than it ever used to be. It's the cheapest center fire defensive pistol caliber. It has the least recoil. It fits the most rounds in the magazine of any given gun. So there's a lot of reasons. Law enforcement went back to 9mm. The military has still been using it since the 80s. Internationally, 9mm and 380 are the two you see kind of everywhere. But at the end of the day, 45 will show up, but it's 45 and 9mm seem to be the toughest, followed by 40 cal. A lot of people have been trying to grab 40 cals or dusting off an old Glock 23 40 cal they had in the safe, but now they're carrying it because it's the only ammo they can find to continue to shoot and train with it. 10mm too. 10mm, that's a very useful caliber, and you don't often see that for concealed carry. You mainly just see that for, going up to the mountains, things like that. But 10mm, you can still find that ammo everywhere. I mean, it's more expensive, but you can still find it. So I've seen a lot of guys jumping into something 10mm, maybe a Glock 20, maybe a 10mm 1911, just something they can get their hands on and continue the train. So things are really strange. We're living in strange times right now. People are doing what they have to do to try to, make things work. But yeah, 9mm definitely recommended. It just sucks that you can't find it. You just can't. But going back to the video I was just filming, this is my AR pistol. Looks a little different. It used to have the Knights quad rail, and I switched it out for this Aero Precision R1 7-inch Atlas rail. So the video is actually showing you the whole process of how I did that. This is kind of a weird build because when people do a free floated rail, pretty much all of the time, vast majority of the time, the front sight base, it goes away, take it off the gun, it's gone. And then the rail will come over and cover everything. They move to a low profile gas block. In this case, this is one of those strange builds. I've only ever seen one or two like it in person. It's not very common that people do this, but I actually decided to put the front sight base back on once I installed the rail. So in the process of editing the video right now, but you guys are going to get to see how this was done. And for those who've never taken off a front sight base or put it back on, you're going to see that process as well, which can get kind of interesting, especially if it's your first time. But yeah, this is my favorite AR that I own, and just wanted to church it up, make it a little bit more slender, lightweight. And for some reason, I know it's logically not the case, but for some reason it feels like 2 pounds lighter since that quad rail just came off. So yeah, we're going to be checking that out in a video that I'm going to be uploading. Spray paint still a little bit wet. You know, everything's got to have spray paint. These magazines somehow survive being spray painted this long, but those at some point I'm going to spray paint them. But yeah, so fresh coat of spray paint, at least up here. But yeah, that was actually kind of a fun video to film, and I look forward to publishing that. I think there's some guys that are going to be pretty interested in that and be able to see how you take off a front sight base on an AR, how you put it back on, how you install a free floated rail, things we should care about. How does it actually look? Some people might be a little horrified. You know, there is no gunsmithing room or gunsmith shop in the country that I know of that has a clear open viewing window that you get to watch while your gun is being worked on. Everybody wants the sausage, but they do not want to see how it's made. So for those who are new to the channel, like AK, I'm an armorer at our local range. We've got a whole bunch of rentals. We got full autos, standard gun shop. We have a Black Rifle coffee shop in the gun range. So the type and kind of firearms that I deal with is a pretty wide scope. It's a pretty wide range. So that's been kind of fun. Everything from the 249 and 240 M16, M4 that we have, all of those are things that as a school trained armor that I trained with and am very familiar with from my time in the military. But moving into the civilian side and now dealing with MP5, MP7, MG42, full auto suppressed, 300 blackout HK, like all kinds of weird stuff. Everything from an old school Browning A5 to, you know, AR-15s and Glocks and things like that. It's a pretty wide range of guns that I get to kind of work on. So anyway, I was just saying all that everyone kind of wants to see the finished product. Everyone wants whatever repairs or customization they want on the guns that come through the shop, but no one really wants to see it made. No one really wants to see that actually happen. So you guys are actually going to see it in this video that I'm editing. Should be up in the next day or two. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I think a lot of guys are going to like it. Let's see. I see some more people kind of fluctuating, coming in and out of the chat. So yeah, I'm just really here for your questions. I try to, every Wednesday night, I try to do a Q&A live stream. So you guys can jump in, do some comments. You guys can ask some questions, any videos that you guys want to see. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. Let's see. My phone has been going crazy, so I'm going to see if it's related to the Christmas party we're doing tonight. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're good to go with all of that. But hopefully you guys have been doing good during all this. Updates in terms of inventory. We do have some Glocks. Some of the hardest guns to get and keep in stock are Glock 19, Glock 43X, Glock 43. Those Glock 45, the 19X, those are all models from Glock that very hard to get them in stock. We don't get very many when we do get them in, and they last like 10 to 20 minutes, and we're pretty much sold out. From Sig Sauer, hardest things to get and keep in stock are going to be the 365, 365 XL, and anything P320, M17, M18. Maybe it's VTAC edition of the 320. Maybe it's the X Carry, kind of the compact or subcompact. So from Sig Sauer, the 365s and the 320s, very hard to get, and we cannot keep them in stock. From Smith & Wesson, any of their M&P 2.0s, and their M&P Shield 9s. One gun that's actually kind of interesting is the M&P Shield Easy. So for those of you that maybe you've got someone in your life or a friend or a wife, family member, someone who's looking for a pistol, but maybe they have arthritis in the hands or strength issues, and racking the slide is kind of a challenge. Loading rounds in the magazine is kind of a challenge. The Smith & Wesson Shield Easy, something you might want to look into. The slide is really easy to rack. Magazine is easy to load. But when we get those in, those also don't last very long. We do get some Canics, like a TP9. The Canic pistols, they don't last long either. We do get the Taurus G2C and G3s. I'm personally not a big fan of Taurus. Let's just put it this way: the more guns that I have to repair from certain manufacturers, the more I see that type of gun, the less inclined I am to want to buy it. We have about 60 to 65 handguns on the pistol range for rent. And those guns, they get shot every day. Weird stuff happens. They get dropped. They get beat up. They're very high mileage guns. And I can see something like the SIG 320 or any of the Glocks, things like that just survive. They take the abuse and they keep going, and I never have to repair them. Maybe every 5,000 to 8,000 rounds, I'll have to take the slide apart and clean out the firing pin or the striker channel, and then it's good to go within minutes for another 6,000 rounds or whatever. So I like guns that I don't have to repair, and they can get really dirty. They can get really beat up. And doesn't matter. They are still functional. They're still good to go. So a lot of those reasons kind of tap into why I'm not a big fan of Taurus, but we do get their G2C and their G3s, and those don't last long either. And honestly, for the money, budget and money is kind of a big factor. It always is, but these times especially, COVID, we're still rolling through that. We're getting ready for the holidays. All that stuff is going on. People would like to buy a Glock 19 or a SIG 320. They don't even have the gun, or we don't even have it in stock. And when we do, it's sometimes, it's out of the price range for a lot of people. So the Taurus G3 or G2C can kind of get them where they need to be for the moment. Just to have a gun that's not a high point, something that's more refined than a high point, but it's not going to be to that same quality standard, but at least it's financially, you can tap into it. So those are pretty popular as well. Let's see. What would you suggest as a good daily carry in 9mm? Definitely the best gun in the world is the gun that you actually have on you, and the gun that you're the most practiced and have the most familiarization, experience, and training with. Reason why I say that is you could have this really awesome, maybe it's, a Glock 19X, which is my personal carry. But for a lot of people, that's going to be a little bit more size and weight than they really want to sign up for. So as good as the gun is, if people buy it to conceal carry it, and then in actual daily practice, the gun is just inconvenient. It's too big. It's too heavy. The gun usually will get left at home, or they just leave it in the car when they're going inside, shopping for groceries or whatever. So it needs to be a gun that's going to work with your lifestyle. It needs to be a gun that's going to work with your manner of dress, Right now, at least in this hemisphere, it's colder, it's wintertime. So there's going to be a lot of jackets. There's going to be a lot more, concealment garments and clothing. So this is the time of year where people start to bring out some of their bigger framed guns that carry more. This is when you might see some shoulder rigs coming out, guns that are a little bit bigger that normally during the summer, if you're just wearing shorts and a t-shirt, going to be a little hard to conceal. But it basically just needs to be a gun that's going to work with your lifestyle. Whether you're going to do inside the waistband or appendix carry, or it's going to be small enough to where you put it in a pocket holster and you carry it like that. One thing, I guess, on the subject is Glock 42. I'm not a big fan of 380, but I am a big fan of conveniently, comfortably always having a gun on you. It's too easy just to throw this in the pocket in its proper fitting holster. This thing is kind of looks like a smartphone in your pocket. Super convenient, super easy to just throw this thing in a pocket, put a spare mag in the other pocket, and then just head out. If you're just going to go to the gas station down the road or something like that real quick, versus if you had something like a 19X or, maybe in this case, full size 45 1911. Really great incog Haley strategic holster. I've had this thing for years and I love it for this pistol. But if you're just going to hop in the truck, go for a ride down the street, go pick up a cheeseburger, go to the gas station, do something really simple, really close to home. I'm not going to be away from home for long. Most people are not going to want to strap this up just for that little 10-minute trip. So then the gun ends up getting left at home. Same thing would happen with like a Glock 19 or a 19X if that person is not committed to a high percentage of carry. So to answer that question, I think the best thing in the world is the thing you're actually going to have on you. So the Glock 43 is just about this size, very slightly bigger and very slightly heavier, but something like a 43 or a 43X or a 42. These guns are going to be really convenient and really simple, just the slip in the pocket, and at least you have something. When I'm leaving the house, I always have Glock 19X with a spare mag. But, if I'm working in the garage or if I'm staying within close proximity of my house, I'm just running to the gas station for 10 minutes. I'm going to leave the 19X at home and just throw the 42 in the pocket. So places that I would suggest, it really depends on your comfort level. It depends on your lifestyle. It depends what kind of job you have. If it's, if you have a place at work that's maybe a corporate environment where, you can't carry a gun or your work says you can't have a gun on you, how we're going to deal with that in terms of size and weight. How big is this gun? How are we going to carry it? What holster options are we going to look at? A lot of these things are very personal, that just rely upon your own personal, like how much size and weight are you willing to deal with? How much concealment garments, or is it wintertime? We got jackets versus summer and we don't. The place I work, do they let people carry? If they don't, and I choose to carry anyway, because I want to have a gun, how do I conceal it just to make sure I'm not printing, no one sees it? And it needs to be something you can still conveniently take on that little 10-minute trip down the road to the gas station to going about your everyday life. And it's always just there and not a problem. Places I would look in terms of reliability, durability, warranty, things that I trust, things that are pretty awesome. The Glock 42, Glock 43, Glock 43X, Glock 48. If you're willing to take on that extra slide and barrel, 43X honestly is just fine for most in terms of, the biggest single stack 9, besides moving into the Glock 48. These are all on the fly list. These are all good to go. The Springfield Hellcat, a little bit newer of a gun. I'm admittedly not a big fan of the XDs, but the Hellcat is something totally different. I'm glad there's no grip safety on it. It's a very different pistol in a lot of good ways. So far, the gun seems to be doing well. We have one on the rental range. That thing gets shot all the time. It's doing great. So that one, I think a lot of people could benefit from. You could even look at like a Walther PPS, little single stack, slim 9mm, kind of about Glock 43 size. That could be something to kind of think about or look into. 6 hour 365. That's a great gun. We have two of them for rent just because people want to shoot them so much. So, we have at least more. Those are great guns. If we're willing to take on some more size, we could definitely look at some type of SIG 320, Glock 19, Glock 45, Glock 19X. Some guys even carry the Glock 17. That's a full size. Again, that kind of brings you into that danger zone of, more often than not, a gun of that size and weight is probably going to be left at home or be left in the car. It's not actually going to be on you. So, the best gun in the world is the gun that you actually have on you. And it could be the coolest, best thing ever. But if it's too big and it's too heavy, and oftentimes it gets left in the car or gets left at home, there's no point anymore if you don't even have it on you. So, the biggest and heaviest gun, the most magazine capacity in 9mm that you're willing to put up with, that's going to work with all your holster options, your daily life, your manner of dress, just all of that stuff. Let's see what else. The Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 2.0. That thing's been out for like almost a decade now, and that one is a longtime favorite. Really good, proven gun. Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0. They make it like in a compact and a subcompact size. So again, if you're willing to put up with that much size and weight every day, that's also something that's going to be good to go and good to look at. HK VP9, outstanding gun as well. Also rugged, very reliable, very durable gun. They make the VP9 SK, so it's kind of like the subcompact VP9. So, you could play it that way as well. But these would all be some of my top tier recommendations. Those who are searching for prices, you'll notice we're sitting about, anywhere from the upper 400s to the lower 600s ish on those options, depending on which one you're looking at. But, the thing is, if it's a handgun, it's a gun we're going to carry every day, which ideally means we're shooting it often. It's probably the gun that we own that we shoot the most is our concealed carry gun. Home defense guns. These are guns that ideally we'd be shooting our concealed carry gun probably the most, shooting our home defense guns regularly. So it's not just a gun that needs to feel good in the hand. It's a gun that needs to have the size and weight of something you'd actually deal with every day, realistically deal with and carry every day. It needs to be something that's durable enough to deal with a lot of rounds being fired over many years of owning and shooting the gun. And it's $500 to $600 range is kind of where we sit on guns that will absolutely successfully do that for you over years of carrying it, shooting it. Maybe you go to the Front Sight or Thunder Ranch or Haley Strategic or Cogworks. You go to some place where you actually do a pretty serious pistol course, firing a lot of rounds, putting it through a lot of use and abuse. And these guns are still going to be able to survive, get through all the training just fine, do it year after year, something you can still carry. For some people, that's a little tough, $500 or $600 range for a pistol. And then you've got the follow-on purchases, which a lot of salesmen at the gun shop probably won't talk about, depending what shop you go to. But now we're looking at additional magazines, or how many magazines does the gun come with? Looking at buying some holster options. What holsters are out there? Who makes a holster for this thing? We're looking at maybe a light or laser combo, either laser grips or a light or a laser on the bottom of the frame. We could be looking at a red dot sight. Of course, ammo is the biggest follow-on purchase, where finding it's going to be tough. And when you do find it, like right now, when we have it in stock, we sell 9mm for like $17 for a box of 50 rounds, Full Metal Jacket, standard 115 grain target stuff. And that's because the prices have gone up for us to buy it. So if we have to pay more to get it in, everything rolls downhill. So, yeah, that's all just additional stuff to think about. But yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with Glock, Sig Sauer, H&K, Smith and Wesson, Springfield Armory, just in the form of the Hellcat. Again, I'm not a tremendous fan of the XD, but if you are, XDS could be a way to go, single stack. But yeah, these are all options that I could recommend for sure. But usually, this live stream will usually start at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So usually it'll start about 2 hours ago. Tonight I had to film that video, was editing it and stuff. So just kind of doing a last minute live stream. But usually we'll have, a number of people commenting and coming in. So tonight it was a little bit delayed. And I only put up the reminder probably like 30 minutes before I actually went live. So tonight is pretty thin compared to most other Q&A nights. So AK, I'm glad you're here and welcome to watching the channel and the Q&A and everything. Usually it's a little bit more busy than this, but still we're just making it work. I just wanted to put out some content for you guys tonight before we're going to have to go for the Christmas party. But I could see more people have jumped in. So for those joining us, just doing the Q&A tonight, started a little bit late, and I'm going to have to go probably about 20 minutes just to get ready. We have our Christmas party at work tonight, so we're going to be shooting machine guns, having dinner, and just having a good time. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit short of a Q&A for tonight. But I'm going to check my phone again, see what else is going on. As usual, I have like 4 to 5 different things going on in the middle of other things going on. Let's see. Yeah, it just looks like more. Yeah, thanks for being here, AK. Yeah, every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. That's when we typically do the live stream Q&A. It's a way to kind of just stay current, reach out with you guys. But thanks. Yeah, the Christmas party, it's going to be a good time. Obviously happens once a year, and last year was my first Christmas party. I had just gotten out of the Army and came back here, immediately applied and got hired on the spot. And I worked for a couple weeks, and then we hit the Christmas party. Last year, of course, everything was so different. But we had just thousands of rounds of 5.56 belted up for the saw, loaded up in magazines, ready to go for M4, M16, all that stuff. We had 7.62 NATO for our 240 Bravo, or full auto SCAR 17, all that stuff. So we just had just a ridiculous amount of ammo ready to go for all the guns that we have that we were shooting after dinner. This year, I think we have some ammunition set aside, but it's not an incredible amount. And honestly, I'm gonna just kind of watch over the machine guns and help facilitate that in terms of safety. But I don't think we're gonna have as much ammo this year. But ammo for everyone right now is in pretty short supply. So, but yeah, for those of you, I can see it just jumped up again. Just joining. If you guys got questions, you could type it in the chat and I'll respond to your guys' questions. Typically, we have a little bit more people here. This one started a little late, and I'm only going to stay for about another 20 minutes because we got the Christmas party tonight. For those just catching up, I actually just finished filming a video a couple hours ago. I've got my editor up, just kind of doing post-production on it now. Hopefully we can get it in or get that published so you guys can see it tomorrow. Really trying to see if I can get this uploaded tomorrow. But the video was installing an Aero Precision Atlas rail on this guy right here. So the video is just showing how we install an Atlas rail or a free floated rail in this case from Aero Precision, on an AR-15. Some other things that happened is the front sight base here. This one's kind of unique though. Most free float rails, if the front sight is on there, they're going to take it off and it stays off. And then they're going to do a low profile gas block with a gas tube. And then they're just going to put the rail over the whole thing. And the rail is usually going to end probably somewhere right there. In this case, I wanted to do something a little unique, a little bit different. I'm one of those weirdos that I actually do like the front sight base, or at least I don't mind it being there. But I kind of gotten used to it over the years of having a front sight base. I haven't really seen many builds like this where we do a free float rail sandwiched between the upper receiver and the front sight base. So in this case, in this video, you guys are going to see how do we take off the front sight base and eventually put it back on, but also how do we put on this free floated rail. And I remember years ago, I had built some AR lowers, kind of getting my feet wet, at least building the lower receiver. And that was kind of a really cool experience. I'm like, oh, that's not as hard as I thought. But putting together an upper receiver for an AR-15 always kind of seems like this weird mystery zone of, okay, I know there's a barrel nut and I know there's stuff going on in here, and then there's free floated rails and stuff like that. By the time I got to the military and then became an armorer, wasn't a big deal after that. But I remember there was a time when I was a little bit apprehensive about trying to build the upper or modify the upper or do anything to the upper. And in this case right here, this is something that I would have been really intimidated by probably about 7 or 8 years ago. But now, doing so many, probably at least a dozen a week, I just wanted to share that knowledge and do a video for you guys to see. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, especially taking off a front sight base, because I suspect I see it every day in the shop. I mean, there's a lot of dudes who have, maybe back in 2012, during the rush back then, they bought a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport that has a front sight base on the barrel, standard plastic handguards. And now fast forwarding to the future at this moment, they want to upgrade it to a free floating rail or kind of modernize it. So I see it all the time. Guys will come in. It's like, hey, I bought this gun years ago. Maybe it's an old Bushmaster with a standard front sight base on there. Maybe it's that Smith & Wesson or something like it. And they want to take that stuff off and then put on a free floated rail. Instead of, pay someone like me to do that. That's kind of why I film everything. That's kind of the whole thesis of the channel is, I grew up not shooting guns. Never had that exposure or experience. And I really had to learn a lot of stuff on my own, learn a lot from instructors and experienced people who were willing to teach me or show me the way. Not having that background and not always getting information from really good sources or, a nice, safe range environment. There was times where things were either a little bit sketchy or unsafe without even knowing it. Just getting started with guns many years ago. So that's kind of the whole thesis of the channel, is to help educate, to help show people, whether it's different techniques or training stuff or different pieces of equipment like holsters and things, different guns, different techniques on reloads or how we do this and that. Being able to maintain your own guns. How do we clean the guns? How do we do a drop-in trigger? How do we modify our AR-15 to make it a little more useful? This is content that I love to put out because I never had any of this growing up ever. Just kind of had to learn along the way. So trying to give you guys a little bit of a shortcutting that process and get you right to the point where you're starting to learn stuff and see it done and explained. And then in a format like this where you guys can give feedback and, ask questions, see things like that. Definitely that's just kind of the whole purpose of the channel. So I also do it because it's fun. Not going to lie, it's definitely really fun. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the the whole purpose behind it. Very pro Second Amendment for those who already know, and that part of it plus education and training, and then just exposure to, hey, here's a new holster, or hey, here's this different thing, or hey, you've always wanted to do this, but you've been a little intimidated about doing it. Well, here's how you do it, and I'm going to show you on the workbench. And then you can decide if it's something you want to tackle, something you want to try, or if it's something you just want to pay somebody to do. So that's kind of why I do all of this. But think I'm going to have to wrap it up in the next couple minutes here, but we have an opportunity just for any last questions. I guess it was just AK the night. So welcome, AK. Glad to have you. Again, the Q&A session, usually a little bit more people in here, a little bit more activity going on tonight. It was a little bit last minute, not as much scheduling ahead of time. So that's why I suspect there wasn't as many people here. So I'll try to do a better job of keeping track of time on Wednesday nights just to make sure it comes out on time. But I'll leave it open at least another minute or so, see if we got any more questions rolling in. In the meantime, I'm going to check my phone again. Just some updates on the party. It looks like everything's set, so we're going to be good with that. Okay, well, sorry it was a little bit late and a little bit last minute tonight. Next Wednesday, we're going to try to do this on time. Let's see, next Wednesday is going to be the 23rd. And actually, that's going to work out pretty well, so it doesn't interrupt anybody's Christmas Eve or Christmas or anything. So the next one is going to be Wednesday, the 23rd, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we're going to check it out. And, I'll see you guys then. Hopefully, though, I'm going to get this video uploaded tomorrow. Once I get back from the Christmas party tonight, I'm going to continue editing this, get it ready to go, and then start uploading it. So hopefully you guys are going to see this video tomorrow. But thank you guys for being here. And I will see you guys maybe tomorrow with an upload, either tomorrow or the next day, but definitely a week from now, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's what we're going to do. All right. You guys take care.